Relativity. I am slowing down as you are speeding up, and we pass at an angle to time. They go up and we move down with the vast oceanic swells between us. Rotating slowly, I see the beauty of the stars and galaxies all around us. Spinning too fast in my time, I become disoriented and confused. I am folding up my ragged tent, even as you stake your newest claim. Her mother can no longer stand, but your child has just learned to crawl. I am passing you as he is passing me, and we cannot yet get out of their way. There is a new well in your village, and we celebrate by our swimming pool. I read my book as you send one-finger messages off somewhere into the ether. The snow that sent you off the road was welcomed by the farmers. We carve different ellipses around an invisible center of gravity. They waste more than they can ever use as we eke by on cast-off remnants. I traveled quite slowly, but was struck head-on by a speeding semi. When at last I returned, it seemed nothing had changed, but no one recognized me either. The loss of the microscopic diatoms spelled disaster for the giant whales. Parts of seconds were to seconds as seconds were to the age of the universe. Her long lifetime could not be seen on even the smallest of geologic time scales. All their simpering adulation could not push his boat across to heaven. We pass closely, heading in different directions, in 4 known dimensions. Their silly propaganda changes timber, Doppler shifting with the passing election. We observe a planet perturbing its sun, even as we are swarmed by microscopic mites. We attack our enemies while trillions of ourselves hungrily struggle for their blood supply. Gentle winter sunlight shows the soft side of nuclear fusion on a truly massive scale. We destroy expensive, sophisticated satellites with simple, high-speed, brute force collisions. I am spinning slowly around in circles, but you are really making a mark. A sunglassed businesswoman phoning in a leased car distractedly strikes a fawn. I am sliding down the hill, smiling, never to ascend again. He still climbs upward, his fatigue masked by the anticipation of the run. We both stand quite still as my train leaves you behind at the station. I briefly continue moving in small arcs after stepping off the merry-go-round. The seemingly small increase in temperature rippled through the biosphere. The insects hatched early, the chicks starved, and the trees were decimated. My bopper went down just as you roared by, shouting hoarsely from your speedboat. I sat down to be served as she struggled with the wood for their cooking fire. Our music and fireworks filled the air, but yet not a sound went into space. I paused behind my muddy ox as your silvery jet gleamed far, far overhead. The difference in our ages would make a full lifetime for someone else. Our fossil bones would mix and date to plus or minus 1,000 human generations. The look in the eyes of the mutely destitute mother spoke too much to me. He thought disdainfully of all the little words he could ever hope to write. The poverty, filth, sickness, slave labor, and lack of hope were as nothing, given the wondrous future paradise he learned of in the magnificence of the mosque. The clockwork universe was underpinned by the chaos of quantum uncertainty. Our most basic assumptions proved devastating to our ecological niche. I lay on my back with arms outspread in a field bright with spring flowers. 20,000 miles above, a geosynchronous satellite moved right along with me. I breathed deeply as my beautiful vehicle turned oxygen into gases, which are poisonous to me. You survived by cutting firewood as your goats denuded the drying hillsides. He had his 2 sons and their daughter-in-laws, so he did not have to work anymore. He strove hard to attain a corporate jet and to earn a 7-figure bonus every year. She remembered as a child that it snowed very heavily and it was always cold. Now her obese youngsters went about smirkingly in baggy shorts and tees all year round. Each small change was imperceptible, but the first and last photos were of different men. The runners showed amazing speed, but you casually drove by them so much faster. Dinosaurs dominated the earth for 160 million years, but they left here 65 million years ago. Our written history began about 5,000 years ago with simple bookkeeping records. The sunlight that sustains me takes 8 minutes from its surface to my bare forehead. 4.5 years later, at 186,000 miles per second, it reaches the very nearest star. He laughed at me with those soft brown eyes, and I just had to stroke his ears. A long line of crowded, stinking semis brought even more cattle to the slaughterhouse. I am slowing down as you are speeding up, but for a while we have communications. I stand quite still on this rotating earth, orbiting the sun, which revolves about the Milky Way as it moves towards constellation Hydra at a mere 600 kilometers per second.